They say a mother's intuition is a powerful thing, but that Tuesday, it was a cold, sinking feeling in my chest that forced me to leave my board meeting early. As I pulled into the driveway, the world stopped. There was my 5-year-old daughter, Lily, sitting on the freezing pavement in the pouring rain. Locked out. Abandoned by the very people I was working to support. I ran to her, and when I saw her face, my heart shattered. A faint, red handprint was visible on her porcelain skin. In that moment, the mother in me died, and the auditor in me took over. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law thought they were teaching a brat a lesson just for spilling juice on a rug. They didn't realize they were actually signing the eviction papers for their own comfortable lives. They forgot one tiny detail. I don't just run a business. I run the trust fund that pays for their designer clothes and this very house. They think they can bully a child and get away with it. They are about to find out that in Justice Valley, every debt is settled, and today, their bill is due. I'm not just taking my daughter inside, I'm taking back everything I ever gave them. I carried Lily inside, her small body still trembling against my chest. The house was warm, smelling of expensive vanilla candles I had paid for, but the atmosphere was ice cold. My mother-in-law was sitting calmly on the sofa, sipping tea, while my sister-in-law didn't even look up from her laptop. "You're overreacting," my mother-in-law said, her voice dripping with fake concern. "We didn't lock her out to be mean. We were teaching her discipline. She needs to learn that her accidents have consequences, especially when she ruins a $3,000 rug." My sister-in-law finally looked up, a smirk playing on her lips. "Exactly. Honestly, you should be thanking us. You're never here to actually parent her. If you spent less time playing CEO, and more time being a mother, she wouldn't be such a clumsy mess." I felt the heat rising in my throat, but I forced it down. They were trying to make me feel guilty, trying to turn my own daughter's trauma into my failure. They thought their gaslighting would work because it always had before. But they didn't realize I wasn't just listening to their excuses. I was looking at the designer bags on the floor and the new jewelry on my sister-in-law's wrist. They were comfortable because of me, and they were about to find out exactly how uncomfortable life gets when the bad parent stops paying the bills. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I simply carried Lily to her room, locked the door, and opened my laptop. In the world of forensic auditing, emotions are noise, but numbers. Numbers are the ultimate truth. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law thought I was just a grieving widow too buried in work to notice the administrative fees leaking from the family trust. They were wrong. I wasn't just working, I was watching. My fingers flew across the keys, pulling up the digital trail they thought was buried. I found the smoking gun within minutes. A series of wire transfers to a boutique in the city that was hemorrhaging cash, my sister-in-law's boutique. Then came the real blow. My mother-in-law had forged my signature on a property lien, using this very house as collateral for a high-risk investment that had already gone south. They weren't just teaching Lily discipline. They were panicking because they knew the walls were closing in. They needed me distracted by family drama, so I wouldn't see the theft. I downloaded every forged document, every unauthorized transfer, and every frantic email. They thought they were playing a game of cat and mouse, but they forgot one thing. I own the house, I own the mouse, and as of 5 minutes ago, I own their futures. The dining room was filled with the smell of a roast I had paid for, served on plates I had bought. My mother-in-law was laughing, bragging about a luxury spa weekend she'd just booked, while my sister-in-law admired her new manicure. They looked up as I walked in, not with tea, but with 3 thick legal folders. I dropped them on the table with a thud that silenced the room. "I hope you enjoyed the meal," I said, my voice as cold as the rain they left my daughter in. Because it's the last bit of my money you'll ever taste. I slid the first folder toward my sister-in-law. That's the forensic audit of your boutique. I know about the $50,000 forgery. The police are already reviewing the wire transfers. I turned to my mother-in-law, whose face had turned a sickly shade of grey. And for you. A child endangerment report, and a formal eviction notice. You have exactly 1 hour to pack. They tried to scream, to cry, to use the family card, but I just pointed toward the door. Their designer bags were already sitting on the wet pavement, exactly where they had left Lily. In Justice Valley, we don't just find the truth, we make sure the truth hits back hard enough to leave a mark. As the taillights of their car faded into the distance, the silence of the house finally felt like peace. They begged for a second chance, invoking a family bond they had broken the moment they raised a hand against my daughter. But mercy is a luxury they didn't earn, and in my world, loyalty is a two-way street. Lily is finally safe, sleeping soundly in a home that no longer holds secrets or cruelty. They wanted to teach a 5-year-old about consequences. I think they finally learned that lesson themselves. Because here in Justice Valley, we don't just protect our own, we ensure that every wrong is made right.